Hello, there are intelligence is recorded families. Directors of the FBI have an extent of recorded collusion slash S that they know people like Victor David Hansen was his collusion slash S with differences with them, with other countries too. The same ones they're pretending to defend. There's a hyper foreign that has been entrenched at campuses A through Z, and with exemptions at countries A through Z. And this is relative to as part of the answer slash S for where, why, and how. What our founders communicated for to us to have declassified for us, where and how it's still replaced, even though nature itself demonstrates it to us and demonstrated to us. So CBS has a number of people involved at next to Tucker Carlson's campus, with people involved with the syntax of it, David Hansen, and people making noise in the media as collusion slash S with wire crime acts and methods, and being led and having been led by criminally foreign influenced news media that has collusions and had collusion slash S at all natures of crime scenes, including campuses where and how they are used remotely, criminally foreign influence, tactically delusions raw, as the World Trade Center is and has been. That is recorded a whole bunch of ways. They are pretending other, but pretending what's typed in databases is legitimate. They're hiding, obfuscating, and they're all kind of worse than obstruction of justice and war crimes that our countries have collusions with self-valued roles at countries A through Z, where and how they use them remotely, suits and ties, counters, exceptions, speaking for the sciences, not being led by the identity they share, that one that is generating totally distinct identities of species bodies, each one made up of a whole bunch of plural individual bodies, as a system that can be used to answer our questions. It is generating all group differences, or it demonstrates when we use systems abridged from its own nature's own. Nature shows us that the names of the people in the sciences have and have had worse than criminal incompetence, and not just collusion there, but with uses of it A through Z, with people blaming other things, others or ourselves, for things that we were supposed to blame on the breaching method, like slavery. Then they have subject treatments. Well, let's go bring up that subject treatment. They had it since you guys were kids. You guys have replaced what we were supposed to say about our founders, plural. We're supposed to understand why and how there were founders, plural, that enabled James Madison's plan to counter extort the rest of the founders. And they had to do that because no one had free speech and everyone had to pretend other. They even had roles with slavery entrenched northern colonies and southern colonies, and have all were used remotely, showing they were already shown the names of the people, the sciences. They had to pretend not to realize that for their takes on what caused the Civil War. James Madison's plan caused the Civil War, even though it was after him. James Madison's plan caused the Declaration of Independence. James Madison's plan caused the Constitutional Convention. The breaching method also caused it. Also caused them to pretend other motivations than were actual. Also caused them to pretend that while pretend their unity against the T-tax while slavery was instilled and torture against women, against native difference, against all difference slash S. We are shown that we are distinct from the other species bodies. We are different from them, but we are also non-distinct from them. And we are simultaneous with them. But there is also that which is neither us nor them that is generating it. It is showing us how it is generating group differences like male-female as two of three hyper-invisible but still discernible parts of itself that are inseparable from any individual identity of value progression, even if it's made up, even if it's art. English was revealed to teach this. See alpha as one of the root words in the word alphabet, and as the first 13 letters, encompassing M as mother, and see O as omega, as the second half of letters, and between as the second 13 letters, encompassing mother too. And omega is mother, but distinctly. And so note the N standing for neutrality / neutralizing, because there are three identities of relationship to itself that are only increasing value, and they are only positive here, or they are forced away from here. Our value also positive onto and as itself, nature. See, but there are self-valued and have been self-valued collusion slash S with an as use slash S, self-valued as systems tactical ulterior from its own with syntax, therefore increasingly incapable of affording to be discerned. Syntax with short words proper regarding convictions, with principal treatments, and A, therefore B. And regarding exceptions, everyone has been planting fake exceptions for the relativity of how they use criminally foreign influence readings of statutes and precedents, how they are maintained victim slash hyper victim, only capable of being victim predator, hyper predator, as shown to appreciate their jobs and differences. In other words, A through Z, relative to where and to how A through Z have failed, how we have black people's rights of eyes, and to permit free speech regarding such. We're not supposed to hide how there were portions, there were natures of industries that were criminally foreign influence right through world wars and right through the Civil War, and the differences of them overt criminal enterprises, terrorists, why and how there's a witch trials place next to Webb House, where George Washington had to come with James Madison's plan to counter extort. Right before the last battle of the Revolutionary War, we have this change there. And I found in locations across the country, there are criminal insidiousness natures of tactically delusional psychopath takes on calmness and on aggression regarding either way, people are prevented free speech offensively. How it was is gotten away with is how it was is recorded. People involved with the World Trade Center attack have collusion slash S with names with and as names next to campuses I went, involved with identity theft, fraud, slanders instances, also faked for them. As ones involved at the World Trade Center attack, the court next to it, with both sides of the cases, and the court with a sequence shift from it. The same thing is with the names involved with that and tied to them as use of the location slash S, collusion slash S. And then further, where it is database is relativity. See, the breaching method hides behind layers of roles with itself, only having been since semi-ancient times, and where nature has demonstrated that since semi-ancient times. Just like nature demonstrates to us, a human fact-achieving nature breaching method is one of those things, all those subjects, like the affronts on the women's rights, the types of affronts on them. Oh, it's about voting. Well, let's take the voting separately. Get down. In other words, we have been systems of bridge black pupils, peer, who disbelieves. Get that name on paper. Watch me show you how to make change proper.